Mm. Mm, Yum, yum, yum. I mean, there's no mistaking the smell of honey, which, it's actually weirdly hard to describe the smell of honey. It's floral, it's pollen, a bit ambery, a bit smoky. But I always say to people, when in perfumery, honey gives texture and sensation, and I always imagine sinking into viscosity. And that's what honey does in a fragrance like this. It's there, but then it sinks and it sort of trickles deep into the base, running through flowers and smoke and pollen and ginger and orange blossom and broom and all these wonderful notes. So this is Bee from Zoologist by the wonderful perfumer Cristiano Canali. Bee, very good. Bee's lovely. And I think what's really important to know is honey is actually a very hard note to capture in perfumery. And I can't really think of any exemplars of the note. Maybe Miel du Bois from Serge Lutens, which was made many years ago and unfortunately discontinued. And so now when I look for a replacement for that smell, Bee is where I turn. I like the idea of Zoologist because it's not about the smell of the animal or the insect or the bug or the reptile per se, but rather the environment and the habitat in which they belong or which they move through and come from. And here I imagine a busy bee, dashing through flowers, collecting pollen and becoming drunk on the smell, only to turn this pollen into honey or a really ambrosial syrup. And so I get spiciness from ginger, the sort of sunny sweetness of orange, and then just this texture. It's all texture for me, and it's really beautiful. I think as a honey perfume, this is wonderful, and it's unafraid of showing all the facets of the honey note. It's really, really fantastic. I love wearing this one. I would say that this is an extroverted perfume. It's gregarious, it's sociable, and it's here to have a good time. I think bees have to collect honey during the day, but I could be wrong. But from my knowledge and from my understanding and my impressions of this perfume, this is a morning perfume that likes to get its work done in a regimented fashion. They like desserts, I think they like sweetness. I think of maple syrup, I think of syrup. I'm going to say a Greek restaurant because they can get some loukoumades, which are those Greek donuts soaked in honey syrup and covered in crunchy nuts and almonds and things like that. So that's my answer, a Greek restaurant. I think they're a planner. I'm playing on the qualities of a bee and even the metaphor, And I think a busy bee is someone who has an order and follows orders, as is regimented. So everything is planned and accounted for. The comedian Jerry Seinfeld was in a film called The Bee Movie, but that's a bit too on the nose. But that said, I mean, it goes through the importance of the honeybee, so I think that's a good one. But I don't know. I think it's watching the Wildlife Channel otherwise. I wear this one. Admittedly, I probably spray more than I should, but I love it that much. But when I do, and in overdose, it lasts and lasts and lasts, and it's wonderful. So in overdose, of course, it's a 10, but otherwise, I'd say it's a good 9. It's up there for sure.
And sillage?
This one radiates. And there's contrast, and because of these contrasts, there's soft heliotropy, almondy notes, and there's the spicy ginger, and then there's the smooth honey, the musks, and all these notes. I think the sillage is actually prominent because of these contrasts. So I'd say it's high. I'd say an 8. Zoologist is wonderful. Concentrated perfumes, the most beautiful packaging, made by the most wonderful perfumers, and the greatest of ideas. I love this house. I think you're paying super top quality niche for a good price. So I think I'd give it a 7. This one seems to be in the middle. There's some very discernible feminine florally elements, and then there's some very interesting masculine elements. There's a smokiness too. I want to say in the middle with a feminine slant.